I never clapped my hands before. I don't like that. I'm not going to do that again. Fun. Fun. Art should be fun, right? Should it not be fun? I think it should be fun. Why else would you be an artist if you didn't think it was fun? And it reminds me of a very good friend of mine and the coach that I have. I talk to him every week. His name is Landon. He's in this group. He says that each of us has inside of us a 5-year-old with crayons. That's the part of us that just wants to do what we want to do, right? That's the source energy part of us that's just like what I call core genius, the part that just flows out of you. That's the 5-year-old with crayons. And it always struck me that that's my son walking around, if you hear that. That always struck me that his analogy to source energy that we all have inside of us is a 5-year-old with crayons. That an artist is the analogy that he would come up with. And the thing I like about it is it's not just that, a paint. It's not like a Rembrandt painter or an amazing, the best dancer in the world or the most amazing rock star ever. It's a 5-year-old with crayons, right? Nothing that a 5-year-old makes is probably going to be hanging in the Louvre, right? But they all go on the refrigerator because why? It's fun. It's fun, and art should be fun. And this is something that I've been thinking about lately because art got not fun for me. And it was very difficult because I was constantly trying to shift gears in my business, especially to figure out, like, why don't I like this? Why aren't I having any fun? Why I don't enjoy what I'm doing? And it kind of helped me to analyze. I did this little exercise. I was analyzing sort of my life in art, and to see, like, where did it start becoming not fun? And it's kind of interesting because it became not fun when I turned it into a business. That doesn't mean don't turn your art into a business, but here there's a lesson in this. So let's just go through this. I'm gonna go through this quick. This one should be quick, and then we'll get to all your comments. So art was always a part of my life. I was literally a 5-year-old with crayons, right? Actually, I was a 5-year-old with colored pencils. Colored pencils was my thing as a kid. And then when I was young, I used to I just drew all the time. I was always drawing, and I was drawing like scenes from Star Wars or scenes from movies, right? Like I always would pick like the scenes from my favorite movies. I would draw King Kong on top of the World Trade Center like 1,000 times. I drew that, and I would draw Luke Skywalker and Darth Vader battling with lightsabers. I drew that 1,000,000 times, and just things that just fascinated me. I would draw them. I would draw them from different angles. I would draw them all different ways. And I used to love drawing the Star Trek guys, Captain Kirk and Mr. Spock, and the Enterprise. And then when I was a little older, I got into drawing airplanes. I also got into storytelling. It became not... It wasn't enough anymore when I was a little bit older. Not maybe like before high school, like tween age. It wasn't really quite enough to just draw pictures. I started doing storytelling, and a lot of it was derivative of other things that I saw. I would do like a fan comic book of Star Wars, where I just like would continue the story from the last movie. And by the way, I got it all wrong because then another movie came out, and that's not at all what happened. They did not consult with me on the Star Wars path, and so my fan fiction just never took off. But then there was like, I don't know if you remember a cartoon called G.I. Joe. I used to watch that and like that, and I created my own G.I. Joe thing as a kid, and I made all these comic books of it. And I still have them, actually. I still have them. Maybe one of these days I'll take some pictures and post them. They're horrible. Absolutely horrible. But they're cool, And it was what I was doing at the time. And then as I got into high school and into college, I put that stuff aside, and I got into music, and I learned I taught myself how to play the keyboards, and I started singing, and then I joined a band, and then we were doing the rock star thing, and I was playing shows throughout Long Island and New York City, and that was amazing. My drawing continued, but instead of storytelling drawing, I did storytelling through songwriting. and my drawing became more like music posters. I used to make these posters on Oak Tag, big posters of my favorite band's albums, and they were all over my bedroom as a kid. This is like high school age. Then through my 20s, I was singing in the band, and that's when drawing kind of stopped because I was working, I was in college, then I was dating my wife, and we were planning our life, and then we got married, and I wasn't really drawing anymore, but I was still singing. Then I wanted to start my own business, and right around that time was when the web became a thing. And, I was already out of college for graphic design, but the internet was like, we had email and that was about it when I was in college. And then suddenly web pages were a thing. And I thought that was neat because I've always been into technology and science. And I was like, I want to get into that. And I became a web designer. And it's a funny thing when you're a kid, it's easy to go from thing to thing. It's like you could be a 5-year-old with crayons playing around, and then suddenly there's a new shiny thing, and you're like, I want to try that for a little while. And you don't think much of it. You just go from thing to thing, and you like bounce around, and it's fun, right? But when you're a grown up, it's hard to do that, especially when you have a business or whatever. I established myself as a web designer. I have this whole business, and it's not that easy to just be like, oh, that's shiny. Let me go play with that for a while. I don't want to do that anymore. Because now you have clients and people who count on you and a reputation and all that other stuff. And it started to become not fun. At first, I was loving it. It was great. I was learning so much, and I was able to use my scientific side of my brain with learning web coding and all of that stuff. I found that very interesting until I didn't. And then and branding and learning how to apply art into marketing and creating a business out of it was exciting. Especially when it worked. When it didn't work, it wasn't exciting. Then it was just annoying. But I kind of got stuck there, I was able to evolve a bit. I got into video production and video editing, and I did enjoy that when it was new. But then I realized something. I always loved all these different kinds of art when I was doing it for me, and I never really loved it all that much when I was doing it for somebody else. Like to be, I was never the kind of artist that was commissioned to do a painting or a drawing for somebody else. But businesses and clients would hire me to do logos and websites and print things, all kinds of like marketing and branding tools. And slowly but surely over time, and it was over years, so it was kind of sinister. It wasn't like I was just like, wow, I really don't like this. And it's like I liked it, and then I liked it a little less, and I liked it a little less, but it was so less notice. It was not really all that noticeable to the point where by the time I only liked it halfway, it wasn't like that was the next day. That was like 10 years later, so I barely noticed that I wasn't liking it that much until it was really, I didn't like it at all. Then I was like, why am I not having fun anymore? So I feel like I've been chasing things. And this is the thought that I wanted to get out, is the past several years, I felt like, man, if, I've asked that question. You've probably asked yourself this question. What would I do if I had $1 million? Like, would I still work like this? And I knew, like, no way, I would not have this web design business. If I didn't need money, that's the only reason I have this web design business. But I would still be an artist, and I knew that, And so I used to ask myself, well, what would I do? And the answer that would just pop right in my head was I would go back to singing. I would just be a singer again. And I thought that because I remembered being an adult doing that and loving it so much. The funny thing is that I'm kind of at this point now where I'm able to say, well, what do you want to do? Just do it, And I started this new trek that I'm on with singing, and I've immediately veered right off of it. It's like, no, I like singing, but I don't want to be a singer. Which is strange because I thought for sure that would be it. And then this whole thing with the group starting and getting to where I am now, I'm not going to go much further than this because I have something that I'm working on that I want to sort of unveil to everybody. And I don't want to, basically the short answer is going to be that I'm learning how to combine everything that I like so that I'm not just a one thing, but I'm kind of an everything. And it's all for me, and it's all for fun. And I feel like it's got to be fun. And I don't know if she's on this live today, but I can't remember how to pronounce her name. I think it's Pancora. That's not it. I'm gonna mess that up. I'm sorry. I should have written it down. I forgot. She and I had a messenger conversation today about like she decided, she really has decided for herself that she wants to be in dancing and healing, spiritual dance and healing, and she's like, but I don't know how to turn that into a business, and I really want to talk about that in future lives. But today I just wanted it to be that, man, it's got to be fun. It really has to be fun. And I feel that even though I tricked myself into thinking that, well, I have a business in art, so it must be fun. Doesn't work that way. And even when it's fun in the beginning, it's not always fun. That, like what we were saying yesterday, if you saw yesterday's live, that you have this purpose, and sometimes your purpose can change over time. Where you're on this mission, and maybe you outgrow it, and now you need to be working on something different or something bigger or something expanded. Man, I feel like what you find as fun can change, as it has for me throughout my life. I went from just drawing to comic books to storytelling to video to posters to singing on stage and all these things. But now, like, I would have never thought as a kid that like doing these lives would be fun, but this is a thrill for me. Anyway, I just want to leave you with that, and I'm going to go to the comments now. Let me see and say hello to everybody. Mikey's here. Amy's here. Hello, Amy. How are you? What did Vincent say when he lost his car in the parking lot? Where'd my van go? Okay. Very good. Hello, York, says Wade. Hello, York. I don't know what that means. I'm sorry. Mikey says hello. Good evening. Mikey says Marcia. Laura. Oh, hi. My sister's here. By the way, in case you're ever confused, my sister is named Laura Donahue and my wife is named Laura Donahue. They're not the same person. On Facebook, they're both Laura. On my phone, my sister is Sister Donahue. This way I don't accidentally text her things that I want to text my wife. You didn't need to know that, but there you go. Mikey says, I started playing and creating music when I was 5 on a $39 chord organ because it was fun, and the fun never wore off. Yeah, my grandmother had like one of those church organ type things, and every time we'd go to her house, I would play with it. And then I got a keyboard, and I just started playing songs on this Casio keyboard, and with it had like the drums built in, and everything. And I wrote all these wild songs. My sister remembers them, and because I used to force her to sing them. Mikey says, and I am a web designer, webmaster for the late great Jerry Herman, and that's fun too. Oh, that's pretty cool. I didn't know you did websites. That's neat. Marcia says, good evening, Bobby. Hello, Marcia. And lost interest in creating art over the years. Not sure what I want to create anymore. You know what? That's okay too, I think, because I used to think that I lost interest in art in general too when I didn't like drawing anymore. In fact, I even got a book about a year or two ago. It's right here actually. I got this book that I'm pointing over there because it's usually over there, but I bring the desk over here when I do live so I can have my mouse and stuff on this table, and the book is under that doesn't matter. Anyway, so I bought this book so that I could start drawing again, and I drew a few pages in it, but I realized I was like forcing it. I was like, I need to draw, and I just don't like drawing anymore. I don't know why. But anyway, that's that. Laura says, tell us. No, I'm not going to tell you today. Amy says, maybe if somebody different had asked, but not you. I'm teasing you. For me, well, it's TV stuff. I'll tell you that. Amy says, for me, learning something new sparks the fun. Yeah, learning something new, like web design was a lot of fun when it was new to me, and then I like learned tips and tricks and techniques, and before you knew it, I was doing things the same way every time, and then it wasn't fun anymore. Laura's laughing. The only time music wasn't fun was when I played piano on a Carnival cruise. Oh, that sounds like it could either be amazing or really annoying. I think that would be annoying to me, but I think I'm with you on that. I've never been on a cruise. I'm not really a big like that's not a big dream of mine. I know a lot of people love cruises, and I've never cared to do that. I'd rather be on land and be able to go other places. But yeah, I'm not a boat guy. I'm not really a big fan of the water anyway. I'll go out on your boat, but I don't want to own a boat, and I don't even care to go out on your boat. So anyway, not you specifically, but just in general. Anyway, I'm rambling now, so I'm gonna end this. But anyway, guys, thanks for hanging out with me today. I just wanted to do something a little lighter today because yesterday was very heavy. And that's it. So I'm gonna end this here and say thank you for hanging out with me. I appreciate it, and this is a short one, but we're done. Have a good night. Thank you. See you tomorrow. Bye.